Hello and welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Amita Vadwa and talking about what is the latest that we are getting to hear from Vijay Mallya's case that is now being heard right now in the Supreme Court as we speak. Let's get our viewers updates on that front. What's happening in the Mallya court hearing? Because senior advocate Fali Nariman has been appearing for Vijay Mallya, and Vijay Mallya had reportedly offered to settle all the loans before the top court. Supreme Court had issued a notice on Vijay Mallya's plea, and there will be no stay by the Supreme Court on ED proceedings against Vijay Mallya. That is what we are getting to know. Now, this is a notice that has been issued to the Enforcement Directorate as well when it comes to that plea against declaring him as a fugitive. Now, you have the court that has refused to stay proceedings of Enforcement Directorate under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act, the new act that was made. No stay by the Supreme Court on Enforcement Directorate proceedings against Vijay Mallya. So, just coming days before, when you have the extradition decision that will be taken in the UK court, here in Supreme Court in India, Vijay Mallya hearing that has begun. Fali Nariman, the senior advocating, is appearing for Vijay Mallya. And you have the Supreme Court issuing a notice on his plea when it comes on against declaring him as a fugitive. Let me straight away go across to our legal correspondent Nalini Sharma with more details on this. Nalini, can you share with us what really happened in court just days before the extradition decision will be taken on Vijay Mallya? He had appealed in the top court when it comes for that tag that was put on him of a fugitive economic offender.
Absolutely, Amita. Just yesterday, Vijay Mallya had moved the Supreme Court challenging this particular tag of fugitive economic offender. And this is arising out of the petition that was filed by the Enforcement Directorate in the lower court that had sought to initiate the proceedings under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act against him. So what the Supreme Court has essentially done today is that they've refused to stay these proceedings under the Fugitive Economic Offenders Act against Vijay Mallya. They have instead issued a notice to the Enforcement Directorate. They've asked for the Enforcement Directorate to respond to Vijay Mallya's petition, asking exactly why he should not be declared a fugitive offender. And the reason being given by Vijay Mallya before the Supreme Court as to why he is not a fugitive offender is because he is ready to pay back the entire loan amount that is owed by him to the consortium of banks. This is something that his counsel clearly stated even yesterday, that Vijay Mallya is ready to pay back the entire loan amount, and that is why this particular tag of a fugitive economic offender should be removed from his name, something that we also saw in Vijay Mallya's tweets recently after the extradition of Krishna Michelle from Dubai had actually happened.
Absolutely, because we have seen those panic tweets that are coming from Vijay Mallya, Nalini, since the day Christian Michel's extradition happened and was made possible. Even at a time when he's saying that I have continued to make an offer of full payment of the money that he owes to the banks, but till now he says that it is not being accepted at all. He's ready to repay all the outstanding bank loans. How is it going to affect his case in the fugitive tag that he has been appealing against?
Well, Amita, very interestingly, what Vijay Mallya is stating before the Supreme Court is that he is ready to pay back the entire loan amount that is owed by him to the consortium of banks. But he can only do that if these properties that are attached by the Enforcement Directorate are allowed for him to be sold. Only after selling these properties is how he can get the money to pay back the banks for the entire loan amount that he owes them. What he is essentially saying is that out of these 9,000 crores, a part of the amount has already been paid by him, and the rest of the amount he can pay if the Enforcement Directorate allows him to sell these properties that are currently attached by the Enforcement Directorate and are frozen. So keeping that in mind, the Enforcement Directorate now will have to see whether or not this is a condition, because it is a sort of a condition that Vijay Mallya is putting on the Enforcement Directorate, that only after they release these properties can he sell them and pay back the entire loan amount. So we'll have to see whether or not the Enforcement Directorate actually accepts that and allows him to pay the loan amount, or whether or not the Supreme Court is going to take a decision on that. But right now, Vijay Mallya has restrained himself to clearly saying that this particular tag of a fugitive economic offender is something that he is against, is something that he wants to remove from his name. And these are coming in light of the statements that he's already made about how he's become the poster boy for bank loans in India. So all of these things are being stated by Vijay Mallya before the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court has only issued notice to the Enforcement Directorate on this entire case. They've not agreed to put a stay on these proceedings because the proceedings are already underway after the Enforcement Directorate had filed a petition before the Patiala House Court seeking to initiate these proceedings against him. He has been declared a proclaimed offender by the Patiala House Court already.
So no relief whatsoever, and the Supreme Court has refused to stay on the ED proceedings when it comes to giving the tag of a fugitive economic offender on Vijay Mallya just days before his extradition verdict will be decided in the UK court. For the moment, thanks very much, Nalini, for joining us with the information. We move on to more news that we are getting.